Everyone, RemanX here, and we're on the eve of another one of our long monthly patches, and I've got a lot of questions I want to try to help answer for you. I've got a lot of feedback from the community about what their priorities are going forward with the game, with the new changes to the Crucible rewards, and more importantly, how the changes in the raid have kind of impacted the way that we look at raids in general. So there are a lot of characters this patch. 6 over the course of 2 months may seem like a lot, and technically it is. When it comes down to it, we're at the highest release pace we've ever been in Marvel Strike Force, and we have quite a few characters that are being reborn on our roster. So we've got to take a look and really decide what to prioritize. So I'm going to go through really what I've done to prioritize my teams and kind of help you guys understand what I think are the best options. And you can definitely discuss this in the comments because it'll really depend on where you are in the game. So we're going to talk a little bit about something that I think is really important, and we're going to talk about Death Seed. Now, Death Seed, with the 4 members that are currently available in the game, they can hold their own in the raids. However, they are not a full raid team without Archangel. They lack the damage and the buff, sustain, and systems that really get Dark Beast's passive going with the bonus with offense up and speed up. So it's really interesting. Things we were able to test was that Magneto essentially extends his own blind or ability block, effectively giving it massive amounts of control. And the fact this team brings trauma means they're probably going to be around for a while. One thing I want to make note of is probably for future raids, we're seeing the difference between the team of Death Seed and the team of Rebirth. They literally have 2 very, very important things in common. One, series of buffs like offense up, etc., but they both feature reses, which mean you might have speed fill like we used to have in some of the raids where they started with speed fill, and then you have to hope the RNG doesn't kill a main character that can res. All of that being said, I brought them in 3.4 at this current power level you see. And they were able to quite a bit sustain and control. The first node they did okay in the second node, but when they wind up petering out a little bit too soon for my liking, so that I won't recommend that you can probably do the top end raids at 3.4, but I definitely can see them being utilized at this power level in lower raids. All that being said, when Archangel shows up, this will be potentially a long-term raid team that may have a similar shelf life to X-Men. We don't want to have another year go by and suddenly we have a new mutant team that's knocking at our door saying upgrade me, like we are with after Red Warriors, because realistically it's rather quick that we're cycling through teams and maybe we're spoiled by X-Men. Well, the reason I say that is, well, this is a Horseman team, so there is some potential that Apocalypse himself will show up and synergize with this team to make them exceptionally viable in raids, especially if he does something incredibly unique with mutants. Stay tuned. That's something that I'm hoping that kit gets revealed in an awesome way relatively soon. But so Death Seed, as far as like Red Star priority, etc., realistically, they're because they're a raid team, they're a little bit more expensive. They do require quite a few T4s and quite a few Red Stars. But I think you have to be honest with yourself about how many Red Stars you're going to achieve through the event. It looks like from what we can see, the events are unfortunately going to be a campaign event, so you can probably get a 5. And Dark Beast doesn't feel great yet. Probably we'll have to see. Unless you buy an offer, you're probably going to get a 4. Probably no shot of getting a 5. So don't over prioritize these Red Stars yet until the stars become wildly available, because it's likely that they're going to be available in the shop. Now we're going to talk about something else important here. We're going to talk about the Masters of Evil, which, by the way, guys, are 100% shelvable for me. I look at Ultron's kit, and while he has a massive rework, and it's pretty darn cool that he's being, brought back up, I don't see him integrating into my roster just quite yet. I think there's, when Titania shows up, I think we're going to have a 2-piece of a puzzle that can potentially do some great things. And, unless, this Red Star event shows up and, we're getting a significant amount of Red Stars, remember Ultron Red Stars are coming to Marvel Strike Force, then maybe we can justify it. For now, he's kind of been neglected on my roster near the bottom And it's a shame because he probably was the best experience I had in Marvel Strike Force, unlocking any character, hands down. The feeling of completion when I unlocked Ultron was unlike anything else. And I think that that's something that needs to take a good look at it. Again, he's an awesome character. It's glad to see that he comes up, but he is 100% shelvable for now. So now we got to talk about the Rebirth team, and the Rebirth team is a little bit different. And what I'm going to say to you is, it's going to take a while for them to really make an impact. I don't have that much of an issue with bio that I'm in a rush to upgrade this team. Now, I do think there are some characters that'll be sort of a, bio by committee as you bring them up and get them, but these aren't going to be a high priority until I finished up with my mutants. So I want to make sure I'm not extending, gear yet. So another point of reference, while the Death Seed team will eventually need to be teal, it may be overkill to get them there. And as far as Rebirth goes, I wouldn't put any teal gear on them just yet. They will probably absorb your teal gear as raids change in the future. But for now, they're probably going to overcome it, rather quickly. If they don't, they're definitely going to let us down. If they're not instantly impactful and make us forget about the Web Warriors. So my recommendation is to kind of bring up the characters. If you're having fun with them, by all means. That's one thing about this game, is you got to still find an excuse to give yourself some fun. And these characters both look and perform awesome. They will probably be together. They look like they're probably going to be a lot of fun to play inside of Crucible on both sides of the game, especially because there are nodes that highlight both global and bio characters. So priority of this patch realistically is, Death Seed to the moon, hold on G16 just a little bit longer until you see if you need him, and then obviously start with Archangel, who have the biggest impact. His damage is going to be the most significant on the team. It's literally what they're lacking right now. And then the Rebirth team, and then Titania and Ultron will probably a pop and be more important later on in the patch, which again 2 months brings us into the end of January, early February. So it's realistic to expect that there's more coming, because there are already call outs in the kit, and it looks like they're going to have a full team down the road here. So no incentive to bring them up until they show up on the roster and we find out what the rest of the team is. So the question everybody has for me right now is what minions to bring up. And the easy answer is none. I'm going to say it again, that you have 10 days to build your minion team throughout the saga, or the Scourge. And what that means is it'll become apparent which teams are going to get people through with the minimal of the investment. And the problem you have here is if you can't allocate the resources, so you're looking at potentially, depending on where your minions are, anywhere from 2, if they're at 80, 89 to 16 million per character with tons of additional resources. I'd be prepared to have some of those banked just in case you need them. Now, the data mines do say that the minion nodes themselves, the nodes that require minions, actually the enemies on there are coded to have 50% less damage. And with the Scourges that are already on there, you're getting the equivalent of a full gear tier and 2 red stars above 3. So 4 to 5, 5 to 6, etc. So 4 to 6. Potentially 5 to 7. So it's actually very, very powerful, this the bonuses that are getting generated from that, on top of the fact that the bonus crit, etc. So there are a lot of ideas out there. My best recommendation is, it is too many reworks, too many teams out there for you to make a mistake based on speculation, and that's the problem. Nobody's tested this yet that I'm aware of. There's nobody in there testing this and giving that feedback. So anybody that's, saying, build AIM, build Ravagers, etc., haven't gone in and tested them. And so it's more conjecture. And the reason why I say this is I'm going to have my own testing to do, because my minions are stupid. And when I say stupid, I did a lot of science to test these guys out to make sure that, if they were viable, especially with the number of reworks and the number of red stars. I've used my minions throughout this game usually at higher powers than they ever needed to be. Shame on me for bringing Shield Trooper to Dark Dimension 3. All of that being said, stick to the priorities. And I'm going to say this again, raids are falling off. And the only reason is it's gear maintenance and ISO maintenance. There's no blue ISO 2 or blue ISO 5 in raids, but that might happen down the road when the next level cap shows up, maybe even the spring or summer, when they bring in the blue ISO 5 to the game to make sure people can get the final stage of unlock on Apocalypse. So stay tuned. That's kind of where we're looking at. So I just want to be prepared. You're prepared for the idea that the horizon in 6 to 7 months probably puts us in a position where we may see a level cap and new raids, as it'll be a year from the introduction of them soon. So these teams are built for that. Hopefully Apocalypse, even a smaller Apocalypse, will help you get through the raids. But I mean, based on our calculator, guys, which will be updated very soon for the new ISO blue here, you'll definitely have to take a look at when you're going to get Apocalypse based on your current ISO recommendations. Again, I got more videos coming up soon. We got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about basically the how to make sure your alliance is hitting those milestones to make sure the monthly event that's linked to your alliance's progress continue to move forward and have fun in here in the game. Remember, I do things so you don't have to. And so far, this team is shaping up to be what as advertised. Even without Archangel, we can see that they're performing exceptionally well.